What's up, you turkeys? I wanted to apologize. I wanted to apologize for two things. The first thing I wanted to apologize for was for not being a good commissioner and getting you a weekly update video on Tuesdays. So I wanted to say I'm sorry. I also wanted to apologize for not winning this week. But if there's anything we learned two things this week in the NFL. Number one, we learned that the Giants suck. They suck hard, really bad. I would actually wager a bet to say that the Giants are worse than the Jaguars. That's the first thing we learned. We also learned that it takes an act of God to beat my fantasy football team. Let me just tell you guys that I lost Danny Amendola and Jimmy Graham mid-game and still lost by 2 points. Not only did I lose by 2 points after having Danny Amendola and Jimmy Graham go down mid-game, but Trevor Kelly, the guy who beat me, had a fluke performance from one of the most below-average fantasy QBs in Cam Newton. Steve Smith caught one pass for a touchdown as a fluke. Maurice Jones-Drew had a fluke 13 points, and Andre Ellington had 15 points along with a Steven Gostkowski 14 points. Yes, he had to have a kicker get 14 points, and Tennessee D score a fluke block field goal touchdown at the end of the half to beat me by 2 points. You know what that means, you guys? You guys are in for a long road ahead. Thankfully, Jimmy Graham will not be hurt longer than his bye week, and his bye week is this week, so he's not going to miss any playing time. So I'll just have to go with a backup in the meantime. And Danny Amendola, I have a plan for him anyways. So good luck the rest of the season. That's how good my team is that it took an act of God to beat me. Anyways, I moved to 5-1, but I still remain in first place. How, you ask? Because the other 5-0 teams are pretenders. Ragohater, all right, Mr. Joe Gianosa lost a couple weeks ago, and he also played Vic Not So Awesome at Fantasy Football Paradis, who put up a measly 65 points this week. Vic, two of my guys combined put up 65 points. What the hell's going on? Speaking of horrible teams, five of you scored in the 60s this week. What are you doing with your lineups and your life? Jacob's awesome team, 67 points. Drew Job, Andrew Costello, 0-6, 60 points. Now, hey, I will give Drew just a little bit of slack in that teams against him this year have put up the most points by far. So he's always had almost one of the top scoring teams every week play against him. So sorry, Drew, for that, but you're still stuck. You're still 0-6. Gridiron Greats. How in the world are you 4-2, Anthony? You're 4-2 and you put up 63 points. No 4-2 team should ever put up 63 points, and yet you did it. And you happen to play another 4-2 team that I thought was actually really good, Jameson Jones, but you put up 79 points. You guys are so lucky you did not play me this week, and that Stockton Storm, the blind squirrel who found a nut, the retard who finally got laid, actually put up 108 points. Rounding out these 60-pointers was the worst 5-1 team in fantasy football history, Donde Estrada, 69 points, also putting up the bottom 5 in terms of points this year in the league. Sacramento Stallions had the matchup against Donde Estrada. Sacramento Stallions is the most bipolar team, 118 points, most points in the league this week, and I believe also had the biggest blowout. Actually, sorry, I retract that. 2 Mannings, 1 Cup. Give that to you. Biggest blowout against Drew Job. As far as the Week 7 matchups, what we're looking at is a very tough week because of a lot of buys. A lot of teams are having a lot of buys this week. In fact, there's only one team in our league projected at over 100 points, and that's 2 Mannings, 1 Cup. Everyone else is not projected at that. A lot of buys again. So it's going to be an interesting week. I would say the matchup of the week is probably me against the Sacramento Bipolar Stallions. He's projected at 96 points. I'm projected at 95.5 points. So we'll see what happens there. Another good matchup is going to be the battle of the 2 and 4 teams. It's basically a battle for 9th place. But Jacob's awesome team and Stockton Storm are both projected at 85.6 points. As far as the rest of the matchups, A battle of the last place teams, aka the Toilet Bowl, is Drew Job versus Show Me Your TDs. Show Me Your TDs is projected in a landslide. I don't know why that is. Drew, fix your lineup, buddy. Tijuana Fish Tacos against Two Mannings, One Cup. I have a feeling Tijuana Fish Tacos is going to run away with this game, even though Two Mannings, One Cup is highly projected over that. ROGO and Donde Estrada in the battle for second place. I don't know. Donde Estrada, overrated. I have a feeling he's going to lose. And then Johnson and Johnson versus the Gridiron Greats, two people that shouldn't have the records they do. Vic Paredes should be 0-6, not 2-4, and Gridiron Greats should be 2-4, not 4-2. So who the hell cares about that matchup? Let me just continue to comment on a couple things I'm noticing in the NFL. The first thing, the Colts. That was a really weird performance. Does anyone else agree there? Colts looked like a very, very good team, and then they just couldn't score. They couldn't score against the San Diego Superchargers. It was really weird. And quietly, Phillip Rivers is putting up one of the best years of his career, and yet the Chargers are still 3-3. Yes, they beat my Cowboys. I don't know. I guess it's because we like playing to everyone's level. And then the Denver Broncos, everyone thought they were going to cover that spread. They didn't even get close to covering the spread. I believe they won by 15 points, and Jacksonville was in that game in the third quarter. So really bizarre week this week. Let me just name off the injuries. This was the craziest week for injuries because a lot of starters got injured in the middle of the game, so nothing fantasy owners could do. And that's my favorite, that's my worst part about fantasy football. I hate when people get injured mid-game and I can't control who starts the game. So Danny Amendola, Jimmy Graham, Randall Cobb. We also had Cecil Shorts, and I believe there was one or two running backs. Oh, DeMarco Murray, and I think there was one or two other running backs that got hurt mid-game. Man, that sucks. I hate that. Not only that, but we're starting to get a lot of weird players starting. It was actually starting to be resemblant of last year when Alfred Morris broke out. But anyways, last thing I want to say is, guys, we're doing a weekly pick'em pool. It's through Facebook, but I could also text you. There's a couple people that don't have Facebook. I guess they're living in 1986. You want to get on the pool. Joe Gianoso won last week. Vic Paredes was number 2. As soon as we get 15 people, we're going to expand the number of picks to 7 picks. Right now we have 5 games where you pick against the spread, and the person with the most right wins the pool. It's $10 a week. You can get in as many or as few times as you'd like. Communicate via PayPal, and we're having a lot of fun with it. I send out text message updates, and we always include the Sunday night and the Monday night games, so it adds a little bit of thrill. Anyways, good luck this week in your games, and if you have an active God again this week, Sacramento Sillians, maybe you'll beat me. Have a great week.